Let's see. Now, I think we should be live, getting to be live on YouTube. Yeah, thank you for the heads up, by the way. Who was that? Was that C. Grover? Yeah. You have to go. That's my mistake. You have to go click a go live button inside YouTube, and I totally forgot to do it. Twitch does not have another. You don't have to do anything more manually, but YouTube you have to hit the. You have to click the button. So. Unfortunately, we didn't get live onto YouTube until right now. So hello, folks from YouTube. I will do a very, very brief intro. I did already do the intro. I don't know. I guess this probably won't be included in the video on YouTube. I think the VODs play on Twitch, so you could look back to there if you're interested. But I'll also try to make it super quick and just do an introduction. So for the folks that are just joining us over on YouTube, sorry, the stream started a few minutes ago, but I didn't get it live until just now. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. This is a deep dive program. We're working with CircuitPython related stuff. In particular, I am using this Raspberry Pi Pico W, and we're going to be making a trivia game that shows questions on the display and lets users answer with these buttons here. And then let me just quickly say, since we have new folks coming in from YouTube, thank you, of course, to Adafruit, the hardware and software company based out of New York. Adafruit is the company that sponsors CircuitPython. They are the ones paying the folks who work on the project full-time, other folks like me who work on the project part-time. So they are paying us to write code and make documentation and maintain libraries and fix things and do support and stream. So thank you to them, and thank you to everybody who purchases hardware from them, because, of course, that helps support the project. Okay, so I won't go into any more depth than that. Again, if you are super interested in the parts you missed, if you did just join us on YouTube, I think you can maybe catch the VOD on Twitch after the fact. I suspect that beginning part will be cut off of the YouTube VOD, but I think the Twitch one, if those get saved on there, then I think you could watch it on there potentially. But I mostly said a slightly more expanded version of all the stuff I just went through, so... we should be caught up. So getting into the thing we want to work on, which is this trivia game. Oh, and then the one other thing that I had started talking about was for folks that saw last week's show, on Friday last week during the deep dive, we were working on a trivia game that was based on a web server. It ran on a web server inside the microcontroller. We loaded up the page in the browser, and then we were going to play trivia from that page. We ran into a bug where our page was too big. It wasn't getting returned anymore. And so Hug reports this week to Dan H. and Jeff. Jeff confirmed the issue and put in a fix for it. That PR has already been merged, and then Dan has already released a new version with this fix and some other stuff in it as well. So the newest beta release is already out, and that fixes the issue that we ran across last week where we were returning a page that was too large. So that should work now, and at some point we will get back around to that one. But today what I'm going to work on is this more sort of physical one. Instead of being the web server and we play it from a PC, we're just going to play it right on the screen here. We got our 4 buttons to match up with our 4 answers, and that's how it'll work. It will tell the user if they're correct or not. It will keep track of score. It'll let them just go through all the questions, answering them one at a time. So we've got this already wired up. Let me get it plugged in. This is a Raspberry Pi Pico W, which has only somewhat recently gained support for CircuitPython. Well, specifically for support of actually using the web connection in CircuitPython. And so I'm building this project just as an example of something you can make with this device, as well as to try to test out the functionality and push the limits and figure out anything that needs fixed up. And so we started to find that last week, and it's already fixed. So thanks again to Dan and Jeff. So this one is okay, this is actually just the test size. I was just using this. In fact, this was the more self-contained version of the code that illustrates the issue, which has now been fixed. But I think it's the same code as this, so I don't think we really need... I guess I'll do that just in case it's new. How's it going, Axel, Magnus, Paul SK, and Keith? Yeah, thanks again for the heads up, C. Grover. All right, let me clear that out. and we're just going to jump straight in. So the first part of this, so first of all, I want multiple pages. I want one page within my GUI, and when I say page, I just mean like, you know, a series of things on the display. I want one page that's going to be allowing the user to select the number of questions they want in each round, and then I want to, well, the number of questions as well as eventually the category, I think would be nice. The API we're using allows us to choose both of those things. I'd like to eventually have one page where the user chooses those. Once they're ready, they click start, and then the actual trivia game begins, and it will change over to a different page when it does that. So the actual questions and all that stuff will be contained in their own page, and the setup with the number of questions and categories will be on its own page, and then CodePy will be able to switch back and forth nice and easily. The way I'm going to code that is using the paged layout, DisplayIO layout, GitHub, paged layout, which is in here. We are going to use this to make our multiple pages. So first, though, we need some setup stuff. We can import board, we can import DisplayIO, we can go display equals board.display, we can go while true pass, we can go main group equals a new group, and then we want one group for each of our two pages, so we can go setup group equals DisplayIO group. We can go game group equals DisplayIO group. Okay, 3 groups. We're gonna want some labels and stuff as well eventually. But well, let's make one label for now. We need to install this for one thing, so let's do that. I like installing stuff with Circup. I don't know if that's gonna copyright. Okay. Let's get any of these examples have labels in them? I'm gonna go bitmap label though. I'm gonna go count question count label equals bitmap label. Yeah, I don't remember. So font and then save text. And then quargs. I think we want font is going to be terminal.io .font. Save text we can leave alone. Text equals questions colon, and then we'll start it on just saying 10, because that's the default. We're going to need to import terminal.io for sure. Let's do that. So we have a label, it's got some text in it. Let's go question count label anchor 0.00 and anchored position. Let's go like 5.5. We can put this in our setup group. These are not functions. These are actually properties, which is why that's yellow. We're not using JavaScript. Let's take that out. Setup group.append. So that should be good. To start with, I'm just going to go I'm gonna go just main group, append setup group, and then, oops, display.show main group. Okay. That seemed like it worked. Module object has no, oh, right, of course, duh. Know what I'm thinking. There's no board display, of course, because our display is external. DisplayIO. We're gonna want, honestly, we're gonna want all this stuff. The outer graph, how's it going? Graph, excuse me. Might be by towards the end of the stream. Nice. So this is all the setup for our display. I think we're gonna not do rotation. I actually rotated 90. I think we want the screen in landscape mode ultimately. Okay, yeah, I guess we do want 90 because it is still portrait. In fact, it's portrait upside down right now. Shoot, 160 is what we want. Oh, there we go. That's how we want it. I know it's sideways here. Maybe turn it like this for now. Just then the light's a bit much, huh? Okay, questions 10. Let's get the questions working first. So let's get it set up to where user can press a button and increment and decrement the questions. I think I'll just count by 5s instead of 1s. And 5 will be the lowest. So the user will be able to choose like maybe anywhere from 5 to maybe 30 or something questions. So let's say question count choices, or even just count choices, is a list of 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then let's go figure out what we're going to do with colors later. For this part of it, I think we want maybe green to count up and either red or yellow to count down. I think we probably are going to want to make this a state machine also, so let's go state setup equals 0, state game equals 0, no, equals 1, state game over equals 2. We'll have a page for game over also. We're going to want cur state equals setup, because we're going to want to be able to know what state we're in. That way we know how to react to the buttons, because we'll react differently to the buttons in different states. So to start with, we want to turn on LED 1 on our 1x4 to be, let's say, green, and then LED 2 to be red. Neo key, I think, is it pixels? I don't remember. Does it just say? Pixels I equals color. Yeah, okay. So we'll go pixels 0 equals green. Pixels 1. What do we think? Red or yellow for counting down? Let's do yellow. Red feels like turning off, and we're not really turning it off. That's not yellow, is it, though? There we go. Okay, so we got these two on now. We want to know when they get pressed. I'm just going to copy all of this, even though we don't want to use some of it. Not doing color palette. Think we need any logic here, but I'm just going to put a pass and keep it for now in case we come by some later. So we're looping over the colors. We don't actually really care about the colors, do we? Any pressed? Oh, if, okay, so Neo key I. Yeah, I don't know. We don't really need a for loop for this. Doesn't feel right really to have a for loop. So I think we just go if Neo key 0, and we probably want some debouncing on this, right? Probably gonna want some debouncing. So let's go old button states is a list of, is it true? I think it's true false, I guess. False. Or 0 would do the same, I suppose, but are gonna be false, and then we're gonna go if Neo key 0 and not old button states 0. So if it is pressed now, but it was not pressed last frame, actually, you know what we can do is let's go. Should we be creating a new list each time? Maybe not. Okay, yeah, let's try it this way. Let's try it this way. So if it's currently pressed and it was not pressed in the previous frame, that means we just pressed it down. If it is current state equals setup, if we're currently in the setup state, then we want to use this to increment the count. So we want to go, well, one thing is we want to have count choice index, and 1 is the one that it's on currently. And to prep for what we're about to do, we can also make this an F string, and then we could go count choice index. And then we're going to be setting this again afterwards on question count label dot text. So we want to go count choice index plus equals 1, but we also need to limit it, so should we use max or min? Let's go min. Count choice index plus 1 plus 5. No, index plus 1. Yeah, index plus 1. So the minimum of that and the length minus 1. Whichever one is smaller, that's what we want to go to. Count choice index. Then we refresh the label. Yeah. So that should make it count up by 5 each time. Ooh, it went very fast. Oh, we did not update our debouncer. We made debouncer logic, but we did not set the state. The old state. So in here, we actually need to say whether, yeah, I don't think we care about the state machine, but we need to go old button states 0 equals true. Else. Else? Actually, else? I don't know that we want else, right? Because it depends if really what we want is... I guess really what we want is this. So if that's true, then it's going to get set to true here. And if whether or not this comes out false, we will still always update old button states to what key 0 is now. I think that fixes the debouncing. Yeah, I held it down and we only went up by 5. If I was using Seesaw bulk read, how does that work? Is it in the Neo key library? Okay, well, I'm about to add the second button now. But if it is... You know, I don't anticipate them switching or pressing particularly fast, so if it's really a performance thing, it may not matter too much. But, yeah, it looks like it doesn't have... Well, its subclass is Seesaw, so I guess if that's a thing that's on Seesaw, we could do it. I don't know. I'm not super familiar with the Seesaw API, so we have to look into that to do it that way. I will forge on this way for now. See if it's, once we get our 4 buttons in, if it's having trouble keeping up or anything, then we'll I can go back and look at the Seesaw library. So this one's going to be actually max 0. Each Seesaw takes 8 milliseconds. Oh, the read takes 8 milliseconds. Okay. Oh, okay, and I could do one read in the same 8 milliseconds, I guess, then. So it would go from taking 32 milliseconds to read all 4 buttons down to just 8. Nice. Check it out once we get there. 1. So this one, oh, this needs to be 1. Down by 1, max, but max at 0. So if this goes negative, we stay at 0. Update the label, update the old button state. So this should let us count down now. Okay. I'm going to start with just that. Ultimately, I want to have category on this page also. But I think I'm going to start without category and then add that later. Because we kind of have a proof of concept here. In order to make the category work, I got to go get a dictionary of all the choices. Which I think we saved somewhere maybe when I was working on this one. Or... But let's take it let's do one step at a time. Let's hit our thing, with our count first, and then start doing our game as well. I don't want to spend like necessarily all stream doing the setup and then not really get to the game. So we can do select categories after. So one thing is we need a start playing button as well. So I'm gonna use key 4 as start playing. And I'm gonna make it pink or blue. Pink. Now we go. Yeah, maybe once we make it, if we make it like somehow multiplayer or something, if they're like buzzers, and then it's like it really matters who pressed first in that kind of scenario, maybe we definitely do in that case. For single player, I think the 8 milliseconds won't give us too much trouble though. So let's grab key 3. We're not doing that. Not doing that. We are starting the game, which means I think let's go start game as a function. Okay, so it's gonna need to switch to the game page, which we could technically just manage ourselves with the groups. We could just set the groups to hidden. I'm gonna use the page layout though because it makes it a lot nicer. How's it going, Johnny? Page layout. I definitely do not remember this API. Just X and Y. Interesting. Okay. 0, 0. We'll go add content, setup group, setup, game group, game. Now, instead of putting this in here, we would go page layout to our main group. And I think that should let us be seeing page 0 first, so let's see if that actually works. Okay, it did. And then when we call start game, let's go page layout, show page, page name, game. And we don't actually have anything in our game layout yet, but if this label disappears, then we'll know that it worked. Nice. Well, I guess we don't know that it worked, but it probably worked. We have evidence that it worked. Could find new evidence later that makes us think it didn't, but we have some that points towards it doing it. And so this is nice because now when we want to switch, we can just say like show page, tell it the page, and we don't have to worry about what's hidden, what's not hidden, which one are we going to switch to. We don't have to add and remove the groups, nothing like that. We just set it up, tell it which one we want to do. We're good to go. And so start game, let's go ahead and add something to our game layout. Let's say question label equals another one of these. Starting text, though, is just going to be question loading. I'm going to rename this, instead of question count label, I'm going to call this setup count label, because we're going to have a count label inside the game page also, which is going to show the current question that we're on. Cool. So now we can go game group append question label. So now when we start game, we should see our question loading. There we go. And then at this point, we want to fetch the questions. So let's go in here and say fetch questions. And then make this def fetch questions. Then let's go to, look at CLI trivia. Review URL. I guess we need to do it in here though, right? We need to do it after. Maybe we should just have base and then append it together later. I'm going to keep a copy of this with both on there, but then I'm going to take it and get rid of all of that. And then inside start game here, we're going to go review URL equals f string itself Question mark is already there, so then we're also going to go query. Query equals this. Why is this mad? Unresolved reference. Oh, we can't do this, can we? Because it's in the global scope. Yeah. This is probably not the correct answer, but it's what we're doing for now. Maybe we'll make one object that is a dictionary that stores the URL, the current score, the current question, number, anything else that we want to store about the game. Like a game data object. Yeah, that gets us out of using global, I think, right? Because I'm pretty sure a global, you can set a key on a global dictionary, you just can't change a global string or something. So let's say game data is a dictionary. It's going to start with tree URL. How's it going, Dexter? Save that true URL. So now we could access it, and I think we can change it more importantly than accessing it. Should have kept that. Still equals itself plus the query. The query is going to be amount equals the amount they chose, which is count choices, count choice index. Start game, that will update the URL, fetch questions, gets called inside here. We make the request. We should do this stuff at the beginning, I think. After we set up the display. Whoa. Requests. SSL. Okay, all of that is set up, so now we should be able to go make our actual request like this. We're gonna go game data questions equals this. At this time, we are also gonna go game data cur index equals 0. Score equals 0. So this is basically going to reset our stuff. Actually, to be honest with you, though, this would make more sense inside here, truthfully. These ones, resetting. Yeah. This one, though, needs to be here because we need to get our response first. There's our questions, and then... I think then we can just go, like, show cur question. Def show cur question. So, to do that, we are going to go question label dot text equals game data questions game data cur index. And we don't have the we don't have anything else yet. We don't have the count yet. We don't have the answers yet. But let's see if we get this much working. And I guess at the end of this, we would want to go and increment this. Well, no, really, this one increments whenever they press a button. Yeah, which we don't have the button set up yet. We'll have the states here. If the current state is game, state game, then we'll have the logic there. So let's see if we show the first question correctly. Let's see if we get our fetch, show our first question. I guess if we printed it out, we could even see if our amount is working. I don't think I did print it, though. Question loading. Crashed. No attribute find something? Attribute find. Dictionary has no attribute find. 119. Game data questions. That string. Data cur index. Expected type string. Why is it expected to be a string? Score. Okay. Interesting. I mean, it's gonna still fail the same way, though, right? Tabs. Are there tabs in it? Actually going into here, replace tabs. Dictionary has no attribute find. Oh, these are objects. These are objects. We need to go, it's probably question. I don't actually know. We should be printing this. Let's go print game data questions. Our JSON gives us back Why does this think we're in the REPL already? But we're not actually, right? We're in the code. Why did it not print again? Oh, this is like stuck. I don't have any control over this anymore. Control C and Control D aren't doing anything. Ah, that one worked. It says, what is the color of something? Now, one problem is it's cut off on the edge there. So we'll need to wrap it. I want to figure this out, though, because kind of nice to be able to actually use this. Okay, so we want to make sure that our question is going to wrap. We also want to have actually def HTML decode, because the questions have HTML entities escaped into them. We'll just keep adding more replaces as we find more things that exist. So we should also go HTML decode, but then we should also go display text wrap. Does that work? Wrap text? I think, how do we import it? Do we want pixels? Wrap text to pixels from display text import. So then we also, where did we set the question here? We also want to go now wrap text to pixels. Which takes the text, wrap width, and the font. Text, wrap width, font. And then wrap width is actually going to be display dot width minus 10, because I want 5 pixels padding on each side. Failure. List has no attribute find right, because wrap text to pixels returns a list. So what we need to do is new line dot join that list back together. There we are. What alcoholic drink is made from molasses? Rum? I don't know. Rum is sugar. I didn't know there was one. Let's see. Rum. Look at that. Starting on a high note. We got the first one. Okay, so let's add more to this. Let's show the question number, and then after that we need to show the answers. Question number, I'm going to add a new label to the game group. Question, actually I'm going to say game count label. And we can just, let's just start it on empty. Doesn't actually matter. And actually, I want this one at 5.5, and I want this one lower. I want this one maybe like 15.5, so we have enough room for the first row above it. And then when we show the question, we want to go game count label.text equals fstring slash game data per index plus 1 over the total number of questions, which is count choices, count choice index. Why's the ROM always gone? Let's see. Okay, so that should put, I think, like 1/10 in the top left when we show the question. Ooh, wow, okay. I might need a bigger screen. That's gonna be tricky. That's a lot. That's a lot to fit. Okay, a couple things here. Let's go. I guess let's back this all the way off to 1x. And then this can be display width -2. That will give us slightly more width with which we can put the question in. Let's also go question label dot line spacing 1.0. I think it defaults to 1.25. I did notice we don't have... Oh, we didn't add it to the group. We didn't get our number, but that makes sense. We actually need to go game group and game count label. Can you touchscreen scroll? This one, to the best of my knowledge, this is not a touchscreen, so I don't believe so. Although, I mean, we have the buttons, right? Like, we could, I suppose, make it to where... I don't know, that gets tricky, though, because if two buttons are scrolling, then... I mean, even if one button scrolled and it always scrolled down, but then it just bounced back to the top, maybe do that. But the problem is that all four buttons are meant for answering. So then we'd have to have like another button that says like, I'm ready to actually answer. But I mean, one thing is though, we do still have a boatload of pins on this. Maybe we just add, maybe we add another 1 or 2 buttons aside from our 4-pack here. That may be where we end up going. Auto scroll. Auto scroll. We have a scrolling label. I made it for the Winamp project, but I don't think it supports scrolling vertically. And I also am not necessarily sure that it supports more than one line. I think it scrolls horizontally, and I think it will, I'm pretty sure it scrolls only one line. So maybe the time has come to make a vertically scrolling label that uses like wrap to text like we did, and then slowly just iterates and moves each row up over time. We might have to do that. Auto scroll seems kind of nice. Although it's weird too, because if you start reading the question and then the beginning scrolls off, that's kind of frustrating. You haven't read it, but I don't know. What do we do? Yeah, maybe it's like, maybe it waits an extra second or something. I don't know. We'll think about it. We can always add a couple extra buttons as well. If I needed to add 1 or 2 more buttons, I got room on the breadboard, and of course we could find room in the project box, whatever it is. Do the breadboard Neo keys have mounting holes? Anybody know? Neo key? Just the 1-bys? These ones? They don't, do they? So that would be tough to mount. Oh, I guess these are mount holes, are they? Be tough to mount in a box, though. Have another little ride-along PCB or something. I don't know. We'll see. See where we end up. Where are we at here? So I think the changing the line spacing should help. Also, we can move this up. Let's move this up. Let's use all the vertical space we can. So let's actually say this one can stay at 5.5. That one doesn't matter. Question label though, let's go count label at 1, and then let's go question label. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that was 10 higher, so let's bring it back to 11. Only fetch shorter questions. I don't know that we have... I mean, we could fetch all questions and then just ignore long ones, but then our count could be off, right? Like, if we fetch 10 questions, but 2 of them are too long, then the user is like, hey, where'd my other 2 questions go? And we can't filter in the API by size. We might be all right now, though, with the spacing, because, like, at this point, we still have room for... And we could easily, I think, still fit another 2 to 3 lines under this, and still have room for the answers, hopefully, as long as the answers aren't too long. If there's wordy answers, then it could be... might be too long. But I think the answers tend to be, like... 1 word more so than... Yeah, I think let's give it a try like this. We'll see if we run into another one that's too long. So we have the count, we have the question. Let's put the category up with the count. So let's go category category label game category label equals game group append game category label. And then let's just make this, let's make it right aligned. That way it'll always be as far away from the numbers as it can be. So this one's anchor point is actually going to be 1.0 for x. And anchor position will still be 1, but then it will be display width -1. Okay, we didn't actually set it though. Let's set it. Show current question, category label dot text. Category. Okay, so we found a new thing that needs to be escaped. LDQO? RDQO. Those are quotes, and they're different characters for the left quote and the right quote, which is not how things should be, in my opinion. Luckily, nobody asked me. RDQUO. RDQUO, and then it was, I guess, was it LDQUO? Can't really get like the perfect angle here, can we? So yeah, we're just gonna replace both of those with regular old quotes. I think, though, it did not show our category, did it? Not. Category label. I guess maybe I got the category. I don't know. Yeah. I would agree. I don't understand why there needs to be two quotes. Especially not from the same service, right? Because, like, the fact that I had this one, the plain quote, in there already means that a question came back to me with this one in it. So that means that there's actually, inside this one database, there's 3 different escape sequences for 3 different kinds of quotes. Hopefully there's not single quotes too. So where's our category? Geography. Do not add it to the... Does this get messed up by not having text yet? I thought it should work. Oh. Oh. This should be 1. This should be display width -1. We want 1 down and then all the way to the right -1 pixel. Maybe, do we want -2 pixels? I don't actually know. It's 0 indexed, I think, right? So we really would want -2 pixels so that we have 1 pixel of padding. Maybe it doesn't matter. It looks pretty good. Driver has been the Formula 1 world champion for a record 7 times. Axel, that one's yours. You got this one? Let's go questions. Maybe I'm misremembering. I want to say it was Axel that's watching races sometimes when we stream. Maybe I'm wrong though, if so I apologize. Let's add the answers. So let's go game count label. So we're gonna go category label. So we want basically 4 answer labels. We should be able to put this back, actually. We shouldn't need these. These shouldn't have to be down here. I'm pretty sure these can be back up here where they were. Let's make sure it works. You know, the other thing we can do for the font, for the size, oh, it's too long. Shoot. Huh. Entertainment, musicals, and theaters. Let's just truncate it for now. That would be a place where we could use the horizontally scrolling label that we do have already, though. But I also don't necessarily want to set it up just yet. Yeah, I don't think I want to set it up just yet. But it should be pretty easy to slot right in there. We could have this one be the horizontally scrolling one. We can tell it how many characters it's allowed to have, and then that way it'll always leave room for the number, and then if it's long enough, then it will just scroll. Alright, so let's go answer one label. So answer one is going to be left aligned. It's going to be at 1, and it's going to be at actually bottom aligned. Display height minus 11. So before we mess with the location or anything else, before we do really anything else or worry about the other answers, let's just try to get that one showing. So then let's come into here and go answer one label text equals, let's just set it to the first incorrect answer. Eventually we'll randomize this, so each answer label has an equal chance of being the correct one or not. Might be a good time to use grid layout. Possibly. I don't know that I'm gonna have enough cells to want to use grid layout. It could work. Arguably the code will get a little bit cleaner. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it may. I think I'm gonna, well, oh, for the questions though, actually, yeah, for the questions actually really would be good for grid layout, wouldn't they? Yeah, because I do want a 2x2 grid. Yeah. Okay, let's do this one. Let's get it to show its answer first, and then we'll go back and make a we will make a grid layout. Yeah. At least for the answers. I don't think I want to do the question and the count and the category. I don't think I want the entire page to be one grid, but we can do a 2x2 grid for the answers, and that'll be nice. So let's have it show one of the answers. Oh, I was gonna have it truncate the category also. Like, I'm just gonna smash a bunch after that. Huh? Shouldn't one of those slice the front off? Is that different than CPython? Not supported. CodePy? Why is it running CodePy? Does IPython run CodePy automatically? Do, I guess, different, maybe. Am I completely imagining slices? Does that not work? Oh. Okay. I made it a list and not a string. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So let's just show the first, I don't know how many characters we'll have. Let's start with 16, see where that gets us. Okay. Oh, wrong one. Yeah. I was like, I know I have used this before. You cannot tell me this doesn't exist. Okay. Start that up. In the wrong spot? Our category is in the wrong spot now. Was I wrong about moving the anchor point back? Maybe I was wrong about moving the anchor point back. Oh. What? I see. But and then we can move this back, I think, as long as we don't overwrite the other one. There we go. Okay. Question 1 of 10. Categories geography. How many countries are larger than Australia? Is the answer 4? Hint, probably not, because it was in the incorrect answers list. Okay, so now let's make a grid layout and our other answers. So let's go answer grid equals grid layout, which we will get from, I guess we can go, well, how did I make the page layout? Did I just, oh, okay, it's imported also. So let's do grid layout from here. Put that, let's figure out what the constructor is. Oh wow, that's a lot of stuff. XY, width, height, grid size, cell padding, divider lines. Okay, well, XY we're not going to mess with because we're going to set it by anchor point. We can. Can we? I don't actually know if we can. I think we can. Oops. Ah, okay. It extends group, actually. Maybe we can't. We have cell anchor points. But the layout itself, the table, the grid layout, does not. Okay, so we will need to use XY. X equals 1, Y equals display dot height minus 20? 22. We tried 22. Cell padding? No, no cell padding. Grid size, 2 by 2. And then let's go answer grid, and then let's go answer grid dot add content, answer 1 label, grid position 0 0. Cell size is 1 1, which should be the default, I think. Hey, unfilled with unfilled? Yeah, I guess we'll do that. So 22 height, width equals display.width minus 2. Parameter cell size unfilled. Is there not a default? What was the first one of these? Grid position. There we go. What is the capital of the American state of Arizona? My guesses are Phoenix or Scottsdale, but I don't know if that's actually right or not. I don't have really a guess between the two of them. I guess Phoenix feels more important, but I think Arizona might be one of those states where the capital is not the city that first comes to mind. Some states like that, where it's like, capital is just something weird. Okay, so we got our grid. We should be able to make our new labels now too. So let's make answer 2 and 3 and 4. Maybe should have done 0, 1, and 2, 3. We don't need any of this, actually. We don't, in fact, we don't want any of this. Instead, we'll do basically this for each one of them. So that'll be 1, 0. 3, that'll be 0, 1. And that'll be 1, 1. And then just to make sure everything is working, what I'm gonna do is just go 0, 1, 2, and then this one will be correct. And eventually we are going to randomize those, but for now we'll just put the correct answer inside 4. That way we can see if everything is fitting on the display or not. So the grid's not bad, but the answers are too big. So what do we want to do here? Do we want, so like we could potentially get a smaller font. Pretty small already though. Is there a bigger display breakout? There's feather wings. .5-inch one. 0.2-inch one. These ones have touch well, actually. I don't know how big is this one. This is the ST7735R. 1.8 inches. Maybe we bump up to one of these. So this is the one we have. It's 1.8 inches. You gain an additional inch diagonal plus almost double the pixels. Or we could even gain a little bit more, 1.5 inches diagonal, but same increase in pixels. Or even bigger, up to 3.5, and that one's actually more, again, 480 by 320. Okay, so that's obviously not like a short-term solution, because I can't, I wouldn't get it very fast if I ordered it, and I don't think I have any of those yet. I do have the feather wings. I guess theoretically we could rig it up with the feather wing. Not sure I want to do that ultimately, though. I think for the final project, one of these would probably be best, because it comes without pins, and I'm thinking that this project might be just like a static solder job, like just solder the wires straight from this to the microcontroller. Maybe that's dangerous, though. Maybe we should still use headers. Okay. Well, I'll think about a bigger screen. For now, we will trudge along, and we want to try to put in, I mean, I guess we could do scrolling labels for answers also. That's going to get a little crazy if you have that much stuff scrolling. Let's see what it does. I mean, it's functional at least, I guess. I mean, like in this case, theoretically, we could... I mean, in this case, we could go like the 4 answers on 4 different rows. But we could have a question that's longer next time, and then it may not work. But if we make the question scroll, then we could always make sure that there's room for the 4 answers on their own lines. Let's try tweaking this a bit. Let's say our grid. So let's go double up to 44, and then 44 here, and then the grid size 1 by 4. And then we go 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. That gives us 4 answers on 4 different lines. And we still have room. There's probably room for another 3 at least lines of text in here. So if we did have the vertical scrolling working, we could have it be 5 lines tall, and it would still fit. This will give us room for longer answers. So, how does scrolling label work? Also, actually, before I dive into that, I apologize, but I've got to run to the restroom really fast. I should have gone before I started, and I didn't. I apologize, but I'll try to make it quick. BRB. Okay. Oh boy. Gonna take some work to fit it on the feather. Well, yeah, it won't fit. It will. It'll need wires, but because it does. I mean, unless there's like a Pico to feather adapter, I suppose. But I don't know of that existing. So it won't. It won't just fit directly. Like we could run the wires across and it would kind of work. So do I want to, what do I want to do? Do I want to work on the vertical scrolling label now, or do I want to just keep going on with the trivia? I think let's keep going on with the trivia. Let's get it to where we can press an answer and have it be counted as correct or not, and then also advance to the next question. I always feel like someone will take over the stream. Should get like we need like they have like idle games and stuff. Maybe we need something like that. Maybe I could leave like a chat controls Pong running on the Pi portal or something. You guys can play with it through the chat or something. I don't know how that would work, but could use Feather Proto to wire the Feather TFT. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, Feather. A full-on proto grid. The MVP going. Okay. So let's go. So for one thing is I do want the lights to be a slightly different color. We did these colors before. When we start the game, well, for one thing, actually, we need to go to the game state. Oh, I can't set this from in here, can I? Why does scope have to be... Okay, I guess we put this on here. Put the right syntax. mean, I guess I could change it down here, but so we're gonna set that to state game. We are gonna use these here. When we go to state game, we want to also set the pixel colors. And one more. I'm just gonna, for now, I'm gonna stick with the same colors I have, but add in blue. There we go. So now, in our click listeners for the buttons, let's go ahead and add a key 2, because we're going to be wanting that. So we're not changing states when key 2 gets pressed. I mean, basically, we don't care about state setup, honestly. So we're just going to say state game. Then we'll have some logic here. Because the key 2, key with index 2, will not be used during setup. So then for these, we'll go elif game. Let's randomize the questions, I guess. Oops. They're actually going to be in here because we actually only want to do this if it is a multiple choice question. Don't need that. Choices. Import random. Called this HTML decode. Don't really know that we need to print it, truthfully, though. So what we'll end up with is a list of the possible, all 4 possible answers, and they'll be in a random order. The correct one will be in a random location within that list. So then we can basically just set each one of these to shuffled choices. But we do also want to HTML decode. And we also want to go game data correct answer equals decode the correct answer. So we store the correct answer in here, which we're going to use later on to check if they got it right or not. So I can't memorize the choice position or tell someone which choice the answer is. Good call. Yeah. Yep. We gotta do it right if we're gonna do it. Correct answer. So shuffle choice. So this should randomize the choices. Oh, you know what we need though is we need to actually keep the shuffled ones also. Do we need to keep the shuffled ones? Oh, neighbor's starting up the motorcycle. Hopefully this is not going to come through too loud. Trying to start up a motorcycle. Sounds like it hasn't been started in a minute. There it goes. We'll try to point the microphone away a little bit. If that's too loud, let me know and I'll just go on mute until it's done. Okay, so now on our button press, if it's game state, we basically want to go if, and this is button 0, so we want to go if game data correct answer is equal to game data shuffled choices 0. Score. Not that loud? Okay. Luckily I have a directional mic and a noise gate. It was quite loud here where I'm at. The window's open too, which didn't help. Score plus equals 1 because they got it right. Let's just say print correct, else print incorrect. Eventually we'll put that on the screen as well, I think. Somewhere. Maybe. Well, actually, we're not showing the score currently either. Yeah, a bigger screen I think is going to be super helpful. I think I may need to be placing a screen order. I'll look back through my stuff. Make sure I don't have a bigger one. I don't think I do, but other than the Featherwing. So we'll just print the we'll just increment the score for now. We'll worry about printing it out later. So I think we should be able to check each answer now, right? Like we put this one in here, the only difference is that's 1. We put this one in here and it's 2. We put this one in here and it's 3. So we did not show the next question, so we'll only be able to answer one, and it will only just print correct or incorrect. Let's see if we get that far. What's the name of the album released in 2014 by the American band Maroon 5? I have no idea. 5? Seems like a reasonable guess. So let's guess option 1. And it doesn't put anything on the display yet, but hopefully... Ah, look at that. Nice, correct. So the good thing about this is actually I can press a different button now, and because we did not increment the question, we can also test incorrect. So let's push button number 2. Nice. Okay, and 3. Oh. Oh, well, that wasn't 3, though. That was 2. And 2 is here, and 2 is wrong, because this should be 2 and 2. Yeah. There we go. Messed up our debouncing. In what year did the Big Bang Theory... I don't know. 09? Say 09. Nope. 08? Nope. 7. 07. Nice. Okay. So let's actually increment. So whether or not they got the answer right doesn't really matter. We want to go cur index plus 1. Yeah. Let's make a function called next question. Go cur index plus 1, and then we go if game data cur index greater than equals to game data questions length of that, then we're gonna go to state game over. Cur state equals game over. Page layout, show page, game over, which I don't think we actually made a group for. Game over, group equals DisplayIO, group. Game over label. We can leave that there. Line spacing doesn't matter nearly as much. but I'll leave it. Say game over. Eventually we'll put the score on here as well. Game over group, append, game over label. And page layout, add content, game over group, game over. Okay, so if we make it there, it should hide our questions and it should show our label that just says game over. Another thing we could do maybe is game over label text equals f string game over label. Actually, we could just hard code it again. Game over new line. Game data score over game data questions length. So that should tell you how many you got right out of 10 or however many you played on the game over label, which should get shown once we answer the last question. So let's see if that actually works. Should have maybe gotten down to 5. We'll try 5 next time, I guess. General knowledge. Oh, our answers. Oh, we didn't handle Boolean answers. Yep. Right, Boolean. Elif. Boolean. So we'll do true always on the first button, false always on the second button, and then my assumption would be that some questions have the answer of true and some have the answer of false. Actually, we need those though, because we want to go blank, blank to clear out the old answers. And then we can actually so in this case, we're not going to actually shuffle. We're just going to say shuffled choices equals true, false. Because then when it compares correct answer to shuffled choices index, it'll be matched up correctly. Go down to 5. I don't even know if that part works. I don't think we tested it. Oh, it says 1 of 5. Okay. Arcade Fire's The Suburbs won the Album of the Year award in 2011 Grammys. True, false? Sure. I have no idea. Well, we got that correct. But oh, we never called next. We never called next. Yeah, we made a function for this. Next question, show occur question. Or should that be in here, maybe? else occur question. And a 5, start. Science and computers. Which of these names was an actual code name for a canceled Microsoft Office project? Microsoft project. I don't know. Neptune? Well, we'll save the, well, but then we don't know which ones we got, huh? Let's check. Got it correct. Nice, correctory. What was the transfer of disease crops and people across the Atlantic shortly after the discovery of the Americas? These crops and people. Transatlantic Slave Trade, Columbian Exchange, Triangle Trade, Silk Road. Transatlantic? Across the Atlantic? You know, guess one. Transatlantic Slave Trade. They brought a lot of stuff over. Nope, incorrect. Got it wrong. Which ones of these Mario Kart games was made for the Game Boy Advance? Well, it's not 64 and it's not Super Mario Kart because that would be 64 and then I assume SNES. So it's got to be Double Dash or Super Circuit. And Super Circuit sounds more like a real game to me. Nice. Which of these are not a Men at Work song? I don't even know what Men at Work is. Dr. Heckle and Mr. Jive? Oh, well, maybe that's a real one. I was going to say that's a book, but that's not actually the book. How can it be now? Basket Case, Dr. Heckle, Mr. Jive, Good Johnny. Be Good Johnny. Johnny Be Good? Let's do that one. Correct. Which Grand Theft Auto GTA have the same setting? 4 San Andreas, 5 Vice City, 4 Vice City, 5 San Andreas. What? Okay. So really this question boils down to, is GTA 4 San Andreas or is GTA 4 Vice City? And then obviously the opposite one is the opposite one. I feel like Vice City sounds newer, so I'm going to say GTA 5 is the same as Vice City. Incorrect. But we did get our 2 out of 5, which is not too bad. And the score is actually working, as is the 5 questions instead of 10 questions. So one thing we could do is let's loop it back around. So let's say we could eventually put this on all the buttons, but for now I'm just going to put it on the first button. We're just going to say elif game data cur state equals game over. So if we press the first button and we're in the game over state, then let's change to setup state and show page setup. But theoretically, we should be able to loop all the way back around now. We should be able to play a whole nother round afterwards, I think. Yeah. Whether or not anything will be broken, I don't know, but let's do another 5. I'll try to go quick. Which of these island countries is located in the Caribbean? Fiji, Seychelles, Barbados. I think Barbados is an island. I'm going to do that. We got to get it to show us each one. I got that correct. Nice. In the programming language of Python, okay, we got this one down, I think. Which of these statements would display the string hello world correctly? Print. Printf? Is there a printf? Am I crazy, or does that say printf and this also says printf? Is type multiple? Something went wrong. We didn't have an echo. Feel like repeated the first two over and over. Shuffle choices goes back to empty list. Choices gets set back to incorrect answers. You remove the candidate answers when you select one. Let's find out. So choices starts as incorrect answers. It's appended with the correct answer. So at this point, choices has 0, 1, 2 are incorrect answers, and then index 3 is the correct answer. Then we go into here. Is it a type multiple? If it is, we go into here. While length of shuffled choices, which starts back here at an empty list. So that's going to be 0 the first time through, while that is less than the length of choices, which is this, which should be 4. Per choice equals random choice from choices. If cur choice is not in shuffled choices, shuffled choices.append. That sure feels like we would need to remove it, huh? Does random choice remove the thing? No. So we had this. Okay, so the problem is here's the problem is we're HTML decoding it, we're adding it into here, and then we're checking here if it's already in here or not, but it's not going to be in there because we modified it with the HTML decode. So I guess we would actually need this. All right, how many times do you fight Gilgamesh in Final Fantasy V? I have no idea. Let's go with 5 though. 5 if I made the game. Nope, wrong. In Kingdom Hearts series, who provides the English voiceover for Master Person? I'm gonna go 2. Jason Doring? I don't really know. I've only heard of like, I think 2 of those. Maybe not even. In Norse mythology, what is the name of the serpent which eats the roots of the ash tree of something? Odin? Odin is literally the only one of those I've heard of before. I don't feel like Odin is a serpent, though. I think of Odin as a humanoid type god thing, but not a snake person. I don't actually know, though. What is the name of the planet that the Doctor from the television series Doctor Who comes from? No idea. Nope. Which Aerosmith album featured Walk This Way? Also no idea. 0. So we should be able to start over with this one. Back to here, and then theoretically we could even change this, so we could go to 10 this time. Ah, nope. Oh. Got an index out of range. Start game. Fetch questions. Joker question. List index out of range. Oh. We got back an empty list. Those fetch questions, which should rerun the Git. I don't know why we got an empty list. Oh. So I think we ended up with our query twice. So the server probably gave us an error for the second one. I'll go real fast through these. Right, I'm going to be wrapping it up here pretty soon as well. Question 5. Base URL. How many kilobytes in 1 gigabyte in decimal? What year was Super Mario Sunshine? Which of these cities has degrees? I don't think we can draw the degrees sign, can we? I don't think our font has a degree sign. We could get a different font with one, but not 100% positive, but I think so. Which of these cities has a 4-degree east longitude? I don't know. Toronto? Dutch computer scientist Mark Overmars is known for creating which game development engine? Game Maker? Stencil. Game Maker? In the survival horror Cry of Fear, what was the name of Simon's close friend? I don't know. Got 1 out of 5. I think probably the first one. So we don't. Oh, okay, okay, that makes sense. I guess we don't show questions loading the second time, but we probably should. We should probably clear the answers and set the text to questions loading ... like it was initially. So inside start game, I guess we should go answer 1 label text empty 4 3 2, all those empty, and then question label text game count text empty. That should make us start over quicker, I think. Well, not quicker, but show the loading. It'll be the same amount of time, but it will show this. It should give us this kind of like loading thing here. Who wrote the novel Moby Dick? Herman Melville? Sargon II, the king of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, was direct descendant of Sargon of Akkad. Don't know. When was the first Half-Life? Ooh, the first Half-Life? 97? Nope. According to Greek mythology, Atlas was Olympian god. I don't know. What was the Mitsubishi Wakamaru? Wakamaru? Robot? Game over 3 of 5. I must have got that one right, probably. Yeah. Oh. Oh, right. No, yeah, that's right. Question 5. Oh, category. We need to set category. Blank. No degree symbol in terminal IO font. Lots of requests for it. Yeah, it would be a good thing to add, wouldn't it? Is that just a BDF font file or PCF? That's something we could just go and add that, or I don't actually know how that thing is stored internally. Okay. It did reset, so I think we're good to go here. I don't think we necessarily need to go all the way through another one. And I think I'm gonna probably wrap it up there for today. So we got kind of the core game loop sort of state machine thing going on here. We're able to loop through all of our questions, answer them. It doesn't tell us on the screen whether we got them correct or incorrect yet. We'll try to work that in at some point. It shows us at the end, like, the count that we got correct or not. But it'd be nice if, like, as each one went, if it would tell you, you know, like, if you got the previous one correct or incorrect, maybe. Maybe we could put, like, a little I or C, like, up here or something. And that will tell you the previous question state. I don't know for sure. We'll try to find a way to work it in, but it'd be nice for it to tell you if you were correct or not as you play the game. But we got the core bit all working. We're able to choose a number of questions. We can make the fetch from the API. We loop through all of our questions. We get the setup state, the game over state. Changing between all 3 of them is working. All of our buttons are doing what we want. So we pretty much got this, the most basic version of this setup how I was imagining. So I'm pretty happy with what we got. I think I will be back tomorrow. For those that don't know, I stream on Saturday mornings also. Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. Each week I stream at that time, 10 a.m. Central. Yep, take it easy, Ask Patrick. Have a good night. Paul as well. Good night and have a nice weekend. 10 a.m. Central Time tomorrow. I'll be back, and I think I'll work on this a bit more, like maybe the categories on the setup page and maybe the incorrect versus correct. If I'm feeling adventurous, maybe we'll try the Featherwing or something. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe we'll do the scrolling text for the small screen. see what we get up to, but that'll be tomorrow, 10 a.m. Central. That's on my own channel. I'll drop the links for it in the same chat before I get started. Otherwise, thank you to everybody for watching. Thanks to Dexter, C. Grover, S. Patrick, everybody who hung out in the chat. Paul SK. Who else do we have? Mike P today. Axel, Dave Odessa, Johnny, Beata. Thank you to all of you folks. Neradoc, especially Keith. Anybody who helped out, like C. Grover, I think you pointed me in the right direction a couple of times and gave some good suggestions and stuff. Also, again, I will say thanks again for the heads up about the stream not being started. I will apologize once again to anybody who joined us on YouTube that we were a few minutes late there. But yeah, everybody, I hope everybody has a good night and a good weekend. I'll see you tomorrow if you catch that stream. Otherwise, I will see you next week for the next deep dive.